Hey YouTube, Jiggering302. I think we're going to call this one Batteries, the Little Things. Mark, this one's for you. So, I don't watch TV, but I see all these references to The Walking Dead, and I finally broke down and got on Netflix, and I watched 3 seasons, start to finish, of The Walking Dead. And one of the things that caught my attention of the many was, hey, that disaster happened 9-10 months ago, and this woman's given birth, and they're walking around with perfectly good flashlights. I've never seen them go look for batteries. I'm sitting there looking at that going, well, it's Hollywood. Everybody got sick suddenly, so, foraging is easy. That has nothing to do with reality. And I'm sitting there thinking about that, and I'm like, well, if they actually had to keep a team going with flashlights and radios and batteries and things like that, what would the solution be? And thus we start the whole point of this video. And the first thing I did was I kind of sat down and I thought about this as a problem of, well, what am I doing? Well, the solution that I came up with, let me find my, where are they? Was rechargeable battery, there they are. Rechargeable batteries. And a little device like this. And you will note that I'm playing around with alkalides, but my idea was I've got a solar panel set up. I've got 800-watt solar panels. I've got 6 marine batteries tied up in a bank, and I've got an inverter, so I can plug the wall wart in, use that device, and with a collection of these, I'd have a solution. And that's what I came up with. And I thought, well, that'll work. But in the premise with The Walking Dead, and me being somebody whose job is to be disaster preparedness and redundancy, the nature of my job, everything's in pairs. I have 2 cars, I have 2 of everything. If one fails, I have a fallback. I always have a plan B. And I sat down and I looked, and I realized that my entire strategy was based on having that solar panel and the battery banks and everything. And I said, well, what if I didn't have it? So then I started thinking, okay, well, what does that panel setup give me? Well, it collects power, it stores power, and then I can use power. So there's 3 primary functions that go on with that as a system that give me what I need. What if I don't have the ability to plug a wall wart in? If you take this away, you take the recharging away. And then what do? What if you have to pack up and you have to get? Maybe it's a flood, maybe it's a tsunami, maybe it's nuclear reactor, whatever. Now all of a sudden, the fixed things that you have in place don't work. Back to The Walking Dead. You move into a prison, yet you've got good flashlights. They're assuming that they have access to cars. So I started thinking about that, and I looked at it. So I started looking around. I wanted to ask myself a few questions. I wanted to look at this and really think this through. So I need to look at how to collect power and how to store power for flashlights. So I started thinking about my flashlights. And I'm going to make this short. These 2 were in my car. This one was in one of the drawers. The other day, I needed my flashlights. Pulled this one out, clicked the button, got no light. Nothing worked. So I went to my backup flashlight, clicked the button, nothing worked. Now I'm down to my phone light to try to do what I'm trying to do. This aggravated me very, very much. And I grabbed them, and I grabbed the flashlights. I put them right where I'd pick them up out of the car when I got done. I was like, I'm going to find out what in the world failed, because of all things, if I need a flashlight in a car on a normal day and it doesn't work, how can I expect to have flashlights when I really need them? I thought that was a valid question. So when I started doing some exploration, what I found was, in the case of this one, you'll note that it's got a clicker in the back and a little electronic piece here, and there's some batteries in here. Well, once a battery fails and the acid gets into that clicker, this design makes sure that it fails to work. The second thing I noticed is on these flashlights, when I got them, I clicked them, they worked. I said, okay, very good. And that's as far as my thinking went. Well, I can't get this apart. I can't replace the batteries. And I thought, what a BS design that is. A flashlight you can't replace batteries with just because it's an LED? You got to be kidding me. Trash. My backup one. This one I could at least get open. It's got a clicker too. And the same thing happened. The corrosion got into this section, trashed the little components that make the clicker work, so this died. The batteries that were in here, I had to chisel out. They had expanded, broke, and the only thing I can think of is that either the temperature changes in the vehicle, the time sitting there cooking and then cooling, cooking and cooling, failed the batteries. It's something in the batteries. So that was the problem. But what it did is it basically rendered this trash. The one in the drawer, I don't know if you can see, but see the scar marks? I applied wrenches to this thing to try to get this to go, and the clicker won't even click. So this was sitting in a drawer. This didn't even have heat, but apparently the batteries failed. The acid got in there and corroded, locked this up, can't break this thing open with tools to try. 3 flashlights. Normal conditions, 1 inside, 2 outside, both failed. Batteries, what's going on with the batteries? I don't have an answer for what's causing the AA's, because I've got mag lights in my truck that are sitting in an outside toolbox that are exposed to the temperature changes and everything. I've never had a D-cell battery have a problem. It's the AA's that seem to be having the issue. Why? Good question. I wish I could give you an answer. The feedback I've got so far, I've talked to one person, they said they've had the similar problem. Well, why is there a problem? Is the quality of the batteries what? Kind of new. But it failed 3 flashlights. Well, if you had 3 thinking if one fails you got a backup and another one fails you've got a backup, I had 3 fail. This is not good. And these are normal conditions, which is nice. But you notice that some of these you can't even open up. Have you ever checked to make sure you can change the batteries before you kind of settle on it? It's a good thought. So comes back now. I'm going to come back to the batteries. So as you see, I'm playing with Duracells and alkalides with this unit. What I did is I went out and I got one of these, and this is a battery tester, and I don't know if I can do this, but there's one for rechargeables, one for alkali. So if I turn this on, place the positive tip on this battery tester. Let's see if I can do this. And that says it's fully charged. What this does, it doesn't test the voltage, because the battery can have voltage, but it has no amperage. This forces a load on it and actually truly tests a battery. I needed something as a standard by which to judge what's going on with these batteries. This is a ZTS pulse load multi-battery tester. They make a bigger version. These are not cheap, but I needed a real tool when I started sitting down taking a look at these things. Now I've got one more to order, that says that it can recharge these things. I have successfully recharged these things. So this is like a side thing that came up as a result of trying to look at how to deal with this Walking Dead issue. I have had about 80% success rate, and I had a whole bag. Somebody had a whole bunch of batteries that were dead, and they were. I was like, let me have those. And I've been working and trying to study the batteries, because these are not 12-volt marine batteries. I never really, I took these for granted. So because of the failures of those, I'm paying attention to those, and I'm paying attention to these rechargeables. And for the record, I have yet to have a rechargeable kind of go cattywampus on me. But I'm studying what's going on with these and how they're behaving, because I'm curious. Now, I'm studying this because what if I need something for The Walking Dead? How do I do this if you take the wall wart out of the equation? What is it that I have to address? So this is where I start going into a product search. What's out there? What's available? How do I address this? So now I start to see some of these problems, and I'm like, this either you have a big collection of batteries and hope that your problem resolves itself before you run out, or what? What do you do when you have no more batteries if you can't recharge your batteries? What if the problem lasts 3 or 4 months and you're using the batteries? If you've been in a power outage for a week or two, or if you've gone on a week-long camping trip, you tend to use these a lot. LEDs took out 80% of the problem because it makes them last so much longer. So everything I'm thinking is based on an LED bulb. But you still need batteries. Your radios still need batteries. These are two very critical and key components. So I go back to my solar panel thinking. First, I need to collect power. This is a strong suit for me. So I said, all right, let's start there. Let's start thinking about that. So some of the things that I looked at was a unit like this, which has a solar panel. It's got a little 5-cent battery checker, and the lid hinges open. You can put the batteries in, and you will note this is all the solar panel, and it's chintzy, it's cheap plastic. I mean, right idea, lowest quality, kind of bulky, and for the most part I had to pick this up off the shelf because I wasn't using it. Kind of something like this, but it will take you all day to recharge 2 of these if you're lucky, and you got to constantly adjust this. This to me, all day for 2 batteries, not the solution I want. And with the quality of this plastic, this is a military grade plastic. This thing you could throw out of an aircraft, go over, pick it up if you could find it on the ground, and it'll work. This you drop from 2 feet onto anything solid and it's done. Not a reliable product. So we'll set that up to the side. So I'm sitting there thinking, well, I can't use wall warts. The only thing that I found that has solar panel on it like that, it was too chintzy, and it's not a good solution. So then I found one of these. This is a Power Aid. Is what it's called. Power ADD, or Power Add, excuse me. It's a 7200 milliamp battery, and on the face they put a solar panel, and it's got a USB port, and you can charge it by USB. And I said, for $30, I like this so much I bought 2. You can set this in your dash and you can charge your iPhone. Collect power, store power, use power. Interesting. This is a very small, compact, USB-based solar panel system for $30. And I'm sitting there going, that's kind of cool. I see the merits of the design here, and I'm sitting there going, the plastic is not bad, the construction's not bad. It's got a sizable battery. So what would be involved would be, well, See you in the evening. Not bad. Small and compact. Not bad. I like this. There may be something here. So, as a side note, I'd picked up one of these. This is a Kato Voyager. It's got a solar panel. It's got a dyno charger. I was checking this out, Mark, and it's got shortwave 1, shortwave 2, and I was checking through the weather bands, and I was sitting there going, hey, you know, I kind of like this. Then I discovered this section back here. This is where it got real interesting for me. Let's get the crap out of the way. Here, and we'll put it, you see that there's a switch, there's a port. Am I seeing this right? I can't see. There's a DC in and a USB. So I started looking at this and I was going, hey, wait, what's going on here? Well, with the switch to the left, and I can't do this right, with the switch to the left, and I got to look at this. Well, anyway, one way is to feed power in. So you can plug the USB into one of these, and from here into here, it will charge this. It will charge this through the solar panel. It will charge this through the dyno. It'll charge this through the DC power. And then I took a look and I said, well, what do you do when the switch is the other way? Well, in the other direction, you can use the solar panel or the dyno to charge this. USB. USB. Interesting. The other thing I was checking on was, what if I put rechargeables in here? Well, interestingly enough, it won't charge the rechargeables. The system is assuming that these will be alkalides. This is the rechargeable that it recharges. So I don't know if you can see, but I bought a second one as a spare. Everything in twos. And this prompted the idea. This thing, the design aspects was that it uses USB as its power transmission point. The best part of this is that it transmits power back and forth through USB. USB is the most popular format because of, I don't know, smartphones and iPads and things like that. And it'll do it both ways. So this is like a nice little power controller. And then as another thought, well, it's radio and everything. Design. Well, they put a solar panel on, but because of the design constraints of the size of this, the solar panel, which looks of fairly decent quality, but they say it doesn't have a lot, is small. They did the best that they could. It's something, but it's not, it's just enough, Where else can you put it? So this prompted the idea. Then I go back and I go, well, what about this? That's a bigger one. They used all the available space. They did the best design that they could, but it takes all day to charge this in the sun, if it's dead. Design, USB, collect power, store power, use power. Collect power, store power, use power, USB, or play the radio, whatever. All right in my little concepts, and I'm thinking, hey, that's kind of cool, but I still can't charge a stinking AA battery. So I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking about this, and I'm okay, well, what do we do here? Collect power, my strong suit. Let me go look and see what they got for portable solar power. Start with what is on the market. Here's what I found. This is an Anchor 14-watt solar panel portable. Notice how thin. Notice the size. And in case you need a reference, this is an iPad. That ought to tell you about the sizing. So we're going to call this the size of an iPad. It's actually a little lighter than an iPad. And there we go. Now you can see it. Good quality, good construction. Produces power. Does a nice job. And let me fold this up. So this is all the solar panel stuff. And then over here, it's got two USB. Let me get that there. Two USB ports. And you see I already got a iPhone cable. I've laid this out and tested it and just checked, seen, and it produces power well. And I'm sitting there going, in the size of an iPad for about 50 bucks, 14 watts is about the best I could find on the market, and it's USB. Collect and transmit through USB. Hey, we're on to something. So now I can collect power. Much more than that little rinky-dink one. I can take this, recharge and power this, bypass this poor design, and really have power. And that works there. Well, wait a minute. I've got this battery that's got a solar panel on it, but it's USB. I can charge that. I've got two of these, by the way. So, hello. And I'm sitting here going, I can collect it and I can store it. Can't use it. Not for the task that I'm after, but it's all USB based. What do I need? Well, the solution came with product search. This is a battery charger. 4 AA's, 2 AAA's at a time. And it's got a solar panel. Again, a small one, but look at the size. Here's a reference. There you go. Lightweight, small, compact. Okay. What makes this nice is, if you will notice, USB, USB. You either use, I think, yeah, you use this one. This is the USB power feed. So now I can take 14 watts of solar, convert from USB to USB micro, and now I've got a portable 4 battery charger that will do AA and AAA. So I've got 2 ports on this now. So what I can do is I can unfold this. I can charge the batteries, and with 2 of these sitting side by side next to them, I can not only charge the batteries, but in the evening I've got stored power in case I need to charge more, in case I need the power for something else. Now when I put the 3 together, take note, look at my kit. Look how portable, look how compact. Look at the problem that it solves. Just like that. You can put that in a bag and go. And now all of a sudden, your radios, your flashlights, you're cooking with gas. But we're not done yet. You need to make sure that you're packaging your kit well. You don't want stuff slapping around. So I added this, and I said, okay, that's getting better. But then I had to take a look and say, okay, let's be realistic. Let's look at our radio. Well, what's our radio doing here? How in the world am I supposed to charge these types of batteries? That's not going to work with the kit. No radio. I just lost my ham radio. I just lost my good radio. Nay. With a little homework, we take a good look, and ta-da, AAA. And these AAAs in this modified battery system, instead of using the standard format, if you switch your battery pack to an adapted one, when you have one of these, your solar panel system will work. And I think that clicked in. There we go. And
channel mode.
Ta-da! Lights and radios, folks. Lights and radios. And that is something that you ought to think about. This system, notice the size, can keep me indefinitely with rechargeables at least a year, if not more. And any alkalines that I find, I can at least get them up enough to where they'll function. This allows my flashlights, my radios. I don't know why cell phones or iPads. It depends on the nature of what's going on. It solves just about every problem I can think of. Now, if you've got those CR312 batteries or something like that, I can't help you with these off-brand things. What I think about is what are the most common denominators, and the most common denominators happen to be AA and AAA. You will note that when this is what you have to recharge, what about C-size batteries and D-size batteries? You said you have D-cell mag lights in your truck. Well, how do I keep it small? How do I keep it light? How do I keep it compact and deal with that problem? These are battery spacers. And what you do is you take your A cell and you pop it in. Now it's a C cell. You take your AA and you slide it in your spacer, and now you have a D cell battery. And these are completely just, they're empty plastic. There's nothing to them. Now I've got C cell and D cell, but I'm only packing AA's and AAA's, and I can charge AA's and AAA's just like that. So now I have 14 watts. I can collect it with a big portable solar panel system. I can store it in 7200 milliamp batteries. I got two of these, remember. I can bring the batteries with me in a nice compact format. I can recharge what I find. I can handle multiple battery configurations that are standard, and I can do it all with everything because I'm USB based with my power. And because of these stupid electronic devices, everything is based on USB. Not bad. May not be perfect, but when you consider that I've got a power generation, power collection, power storage, and power usage system in something this small and compact, this lightweight, you can put all this in one single bag, and as long as you have that bag, all your radios, all your lights, all your electronic devices, anything that needs the small scale power, you can use. And that's the point of this video, is because I thought I had a nice little solution because I had stored power and I had everything. The moment I had to pick up and get out of here, maybe I've got a couple hours, but I'm not packing up 8 solar panels and all the gear and the wiring and 8 batteries or 6 batteries and loading in the vehicle when there's an emergency on. What I need is kind of like, I call it a modified bug out bag. If you have to go, and it could be a long time, not 72 hours, now I've got a solution. The nice thing about this little project is it's not that I can use a lot of it, but the side product is I'm learning how to recharge these in everyday life and saving the rechargeables for the emergency issues. So I can keep reusing these as kind of like a, I don't know, a nice little rechargeable battery. For $25 is about the price for one of those chargers. And if I can get these to run 8 or 9 times before I have to chuck them, that's 8 or 9 batteries I did not have to buy. So I'm saving money. I am recycling what would have been waste. I am saving my rechargeable gear for when I really need it. And I've developed a nice little pack. And that is the point of the video. And that is how The Walking Dead could probably pull that stunt. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was thought-provoking. Check your batteries, the details in the small stuff. And Mark, I hope you appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Have a nice night.